Hello, today we are going to learn how to find highest common factor and lowest common multiple of numbers, following the steps. So here you have two different numbers. You have number 30 and number 105. Step number 1 says, draw the prime factor tree for each of them. So let's begin with the 30. Number 30 here, 30 is in 2 times table, 5 times table, 6 times table, is in 15. So you can begin with either of them. But I'd like to begin with the lowest prime that comes in my mind. And I know 30 is in 2 times table, so I'm going to begin with the 2. So 2 and the 15. 2 is a prime, so I'm going to not forget to circle it. There you go. 15, because we circle the primes, remember? And 15 is a multiple of 3 and a 5. So there you go. These are the prime factors of 15. We circle both of them. And we do exactly the same thing with number 105 on the other side. And it finishes with a 5. So straight away, we recognize that 105 is in 5 times table. So put a 5 on the left, and the other factor is going to be 21. 5 is a prime, circle the 5. 21 is not a prime, so continue to break it down. And I know, and we know, that 21 is in 3 and 7 times table, and then we put 3 and a 7. Both of them are prime, so we shouldn't forget to circle them. So there you go. Every factor now it's a prime and is circled. Next step says draw a Venn diagram. Let's draw the Venn diagram, right? Okay, we have two numbers, so we draw two circles. And then put 30 above the left part of the Venn and 105 above the next one. Then next step says place the common factors inside the intersection. Right, let's have a look at the common factors. I can see, let's begin with the first. 2, I don't have a 2 on the other side, so I'm going to leave the 2 outside the intersection. 3, yes, I have a 3 on both of them, so cross them out so you don't use them twice. There, and put the 3 inside the intersection. Do I have a 5 on both? Yes, I have a 5. So cross out the 5s, 5 and a 5, put the 5 inside the intersection. And 2, don't forget to cross out the 2 as well. And of course, 7 is another prime, but cannot be in the intersection because it's not a common factor for both 30 and 105. So place the 7 here. There you go. So highest common factor is the multiplication of all the primes, the prime numbers inside the intersection. And so highest common factor, I'm going to write it here. Highest common factor is equals 3 times 5 equals 15. And the lowest common multiple is all primes inside the Venn multiplied together. So the answer to that, okay? So lowest common multiple is going to be, I usually start from left to right, so I don't leave any prime outside the multiplication. So I start with 2 times now the intersection, times 3, times 5, times the 7. And when you multiply more than 2 numbers, why don't you look which of them make a multiple of 10? And in this case, 2 and a 5 multiplied together make a multiple of 10. It just makes the multiplication a lot easier. So 10, them 2 make 10, all right? 10 times 3, 30, 30 times 7, 210. So this is the lowest common multiple of 30 and 105. And highest common factor is 15. So you follow exactly the same strategy if you have 2 numbers, or even if you have 3 numbers, you can go for a 3 circle Venn diagram. And be careful with the what you put in the intersection and what you leave outside the intersection. Now, what if you have a question like this, where both numbers are actually expressions? We have involved x and y. You follow exactly the same strategies. So let's begin with 4xy here and 6xy on the other side. 4xy, okay, all the primes. As you see, it's a product of 4 and x and y. So we begin with a 4 and xy multiplied, and then you can break it down because 4 is not a prime, so it's going to be a 2 and a 2. 2 and a 2. And the next one is going to be x and y. Okay, I'm going to circle x and y. Now you might say, why did you circle? Because you don't know if they are a prime or not. Well, in this case, it's an unknown and it's by itself, so that's why I circle. 6xy do exactly the same thing with the 6 and x and y. So separate 6 and x and y, and then split the 6. We know 6 because it's not a prime. 6 is a multiplication of a 2 and a 3. Don't forget to circle the 2 and a 3 and do exactly the same thing with an x, okay, and y. Right, and then now is the time to draw the Venn. Venn here. Okay, so put 4xy on the left-hand side, and then put 6xy on the right-hand side. Now, let's have a look. What primes are common for both expressions? I can see 2 here, 2 here, and a 2 there, so place a 2 inside the intersection. These 2 here is not common, so I'm going to put it on the left, right there. Make sure you cross it out so you don't use it twice. I can see an x here and x there, so x is a common factor. Cross it out and place the x in the middle. Okay, and then y is a common factor as well because there's y on both expressions, so place that in the intersection. And then what we got left? We have the 3 left. Place the 3 because it's a prime of the 6xy on the other side. So we finished with the Venn. We crossed out all the primes. That means we used all of them. Now let's find out the highest common factor. We learned that the highest common factor is the multiplication of all the primes in the middle. So in this case, it's going to be 2 times x times y, right? It is 2 times x times y, and this multiplication, the multiplication of these 3, so a number and 2 unknown numbers or variables, is going to be 2xy. For lowest common multiple of both of them, lowest common multiple of both of them, it is a multiplication of everything. No, 4xy. This one should have been a 2 actually, a 2. So it's going to be 2 times 2xy, which is the one in the middle, times 3. Okay, equals 2 times 2, 4, times 3 is 12. So it is going to be 12xy. So this is how you find out the highest common factor and the lowest common multiple of two expressions. So follow exactly the same strategy and make sure you place them one by one in the Venn. Make sure what you place in the intersection is correctly done, and just follow exactly the same steps, exactly the same strategies. And here you have 3 different exercises, which I'd like you to work independently with. Follow the steps one by one, and I'm sure you're going to have no problems at all finding lowest common multiple and highest common factors of numbers or expressions. Thank you very much for watching my steps. Bye-bye.